Alright everyone, Sarabia here with another video. Today we are going to be using the concept of alignment and grids in order to create an architectural layout for a house. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit different than most files. Pay very close attention. I'm going to make a new project. We are going to name this Tiny House. Put your name on there. And this is going to be different because we need to be in inches. But we are going to make it 30 inches by 30 inches and 2 artboards. All right, so when you have that 30, 32, you press create and you will see 2 perfectly good squares on your Illustrator. All right, before we get going, we need to do a couple things. Okay, first of all, we need to go to view and we need to show our grid. Illustrator comes with a really cool grid. When we go to show grid, this happens. You get a bunch of tiny squares. Secondly, you need to go back to view and you need to click on snap to grid. This is very important. If you do not have a little check mark right next to it, you need to click on that so that you do. That is very important. Let me explain what snap to grid does. If you try to draw anything and it's snapping to the grid, Illustrator will have you conform to that grid. You see what I mean? It doesn't let me put anything except on the grid. Okay, once you have that, we need to specify the size of the grid. That's very important. So we are going to go to Illustrator, Settings, Guides and Grid. All right, and we are not going to change anything except for this. This needs to say grid line every 1 inch and 4 subdivisions. Okay, anything else you can ignore. Press OK when you are done. Alrighty. So what this is it's a way for us to start drawing things that are along a very, very specific alignment. Okay. We are going to title this first page. I'm going to go to the text, click once, and I'm just going to write architectural drawing to scale. That's really small, so I'm going to press Shift, drag the corner, and make it bigger. I am using the selection tool to do that. Okay. And what I want you to realize is that we are going to enact something we called a scale. Okay. We are going to say that every large box, notice that there are large boxes and little boxes, right? Every large box is going to represent, I'm just going to copy this, Option, click and drag. So this is going to represent 1 square foot. Okay. And every section like that is going to represent 6 inches. 6 square inches. All right. What does that mean? That means that do me a favor and just like right now, look down at the floor in the classroom. You will notice that in the floor in the classroom, there's a grid, right? There are squares. Each square is a tile, and each one of those tiles is 1 square foot. It is exactly 12 by 12 inches. All right. And so that's our scale. That's how you want to think about it. For example, think about the space that your chair occupies in the grid, right? It takes about 4 squares, right? That means that a chair is about this much, right? 2 feet by 2 feet, which is 2 inches by 2 inches in this place. Okay? So what we're gonna do is the first artboard, the first part of our assignment is to create a bunch of things that will represent walls, and then a bunch of things that will represent furniture. Okay, an architectural drawing is a drawing that you look at as if it's from the top. It's a top view of a house. All right, so let's start very, very simple. We're just going to create a simple room. Okay, and what I want you to do is we're going to create a room that is 10 feet by 10 feet, and the walls are going to be 6 inches thick. So what does that actually look like? Okay, I'm going to grab my rectangle, 2. I'm going to make sure that the rectangle is black with no stroke. And I am going to make a wall that is 10 large squares. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I'm literally counting them. And 6 inches thick. So 1, 2. Just like that. You see that? Here I'm going to count it, right? It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 large squares and 2 little squares. That is one of my walls. Okay. I'm going to make the same thing on the other side. I'm going to make another wall that is 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 6 inches thick. You see that? Let me zoom into that so that you can see the squares a little bit better. Very nice. I'm going to add another one down here. By the way, it doesn't really matter where you start this, right? You can start it there, you can start it there, you can start it there. If you do not have your snap to grid, then this will not work, right? Your box will go pretty much anywhere. You need to make sure that you have snap to grid activated. All right, I'm going to make another 10-foot wall, just like that. Notice that if you do an entire square, that looks way too thick, right? It needs to be only 2 little squares. And then on this side, I am going to add a door, okay? Now, doors are always here. First, I'm going to just add a part of a wall that's about 1 foot down. Every wall, or the standard size of a door, is about 3 feet. So we want to leave 3 feet open, 3 big squares open. And then I'm going to continue here and make another rectangle going like that. See that? Now, I know that this is 10 by 10 by 10. And the reason I know that is because I can count the rectangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whoa, I'm off right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I am wrong. This is 10. So that means I need to stretch these walls out. Good catch. Good catch. There it goes. And now that I have my measurements of the inside right, I can go ahead and just stretch this out so that I can finish off the walls. See that? Perfect. All right. So this is a hypothetical room, right? Seen from the top. It has a door that is 3 feet wide, and it's a room that is 10 by 10 feet. All right, and so now we are going to make a door. And the way we make a door is through symbols, right? What we're doing is basically creating symbols to show that there's a door there. We start with a line segment. I want to make sure that the line segment is the opposite of this. So I'm going to click on this little swap fill here so that the inside, the fill is blank and the stroke is black. And I am going to make a line coming this way that is exactly 3 feet long, or 3 big squares. It's kind of hard to see, right? So I can go to my properties and increase the stroke right there. I'm going to make it like 3. There it goes, or 4. See that? That is a line that would theoretically fit right here, right? If I were to rotate it, it would fit right there. So that's a line. And what I'm going to do next is I am going to click on the line and I'm going to go to my arc tool. And with this arc tool, I'm able to connect that side of the door to this side of the door. And that signifies that there is a door there, right? That shows you which direction the door opens. It's just a symbol. It's not an actual door. It's just a symbol of a door. Now, next we are going to make a bunch of things that don't make a lot of sense because this is just practice, okay? So we're not making an actual room. That'll be tomorrow in your next assignment. Today, we are just creating the furniture that we will eventually use in your project, okay? So what is the most important thing in your house? What is the most important object that every house needs? If you ask me, I would say that that is the toilet, right? Because back in the days when people had to go to the bathroom outside, it was very terrible. And so it's important enough for us to make a little toilet. Okay, so I'm going to create the symbol for a toilet. That is very easy. I use the rounded rectangle tool. You can also use the rectangle tool if you want, but I like the rounded rectangle. I am going to click here and make a shape that is 2 big squares by 1 big square. You see that? Just like that. And then I am going to use my ellipse tool, and I am going to make the toilet bowl that looks like that. See? Notice that I'm not quite filling out the 2 by 2 square. There is a bit of a separation. This particular shape will signify a toilet. Here I'm just adding a couple lines. You see how that signifies a toilet as seen from the top? This is the tank, this is the toilet bowl, and this is the stuff that connects this to the toilet bowl. You can add more detail to it. I'm not going to do that. This is just enough. It's just for a way. It's just a way for architects to be able to communicate what goes where in the room. Kiddos, this has to be this exact size. You cannot change the size. For example, if I were to copy this and I were to shrink it, well, that wouldn't work at all because that would be a toilet for a squirrel, right? That is 1 foot by 1.5 feet. There's no toilet in the world that is that small. So it has to be this size. Okay, I'm going to make a bunch of other furniture that will be useful later on. Okay, so for example, let's do a stove, right? I'm going to make it right next to the toilet. Again, this is not a real room. This is just practice. Okay, I'm going to make a rectangle that's 2 by 2. I am going to add a line at the top. I will switch over to my ellipse and make 4 burners. 1, 2, 3, 4. See that? And then I will make a rectangle right in front for the handle for the oven. And that signifies a stove. Of course, it doesn't look like a real stove, but it is the symbol for a stove. That's what we're trying to do. Okay, let's say I want to do a fridge, right? I'm going to put a fridge in front of the toilet. That is a 2 by 2 box with a 3" by 2 door. Easy peasy, right? Let's make a bathtub. Okay, a bathtub is really interesting because a bathtub is going to be around 5 feet, so 2, 4, 5, and then by 2.5 roughly. Right? You can make it 2 by 3 if you want to be fancy, but 2.5 is more than enough. How do we signify that this is a tub? We add a rounded rectangle in the middle, just like that. And then we are going to add a little drain hole right there. See? That is our tub. That is the symbol for a tub. Let's say we want a vanity, right? You want something where you can wash your hands, a sink, something like that. We are going to add the one for the bathroom would be just 2 by 1. Usually they're pretty small. And you can add a rounded rectangle right in the middle, right? So that is a simple vanity for a bathroom. If you're doing a sink for your kitchen, then obviously it has to be a little bit bigger. I'm running out of room inside of the room, so I'm going to do it outside. That would be something like a 2 by 2 with, it depends if you want 1 or 2 sinks. I'm just going to do a simple 1 sink, right? That's what that looks like. And then I am going to add a rectangle, and this is supposed to signify the faucet. I could probably make it a little bit better, but I'm not going to do that right now. Here, let's just do a tiny little faucet right here. There it goes. Yep. Now, if I want to cover that line right there, I can just fill this in with white. And then that should take care of that. Double click, fill it with white. See, and it looks like it cuts into it. It's not quite centered, but that's okay. I can always grab this and stretch it out a little bit so that it is centered. There it goes. That's my sink for the kitchen. Let's make something else. Let's make a chair, okay? A chair, seen from the top, is just a rounded rectangle that takes up about, how much is that? It's 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet. I am going to add a rectangle right on top here, right? If you choose the direct selection tool and you click on the points there and there, you see how I am dragging into a circle? That looks great. And then I just use 2 lines to connect the back of the chair to the front of the chair. So that is a chair. It doesn't look like a chair, but it's because we're looking at it from the top, right? All right, so let's try something else. Let's try something like a couch, okay? For a couch, it's really easy. Every seat will take up 2 by 2 inches, okay? So that's 1 seat. It depends if you want 2 or 3 seats. I'm gonna make a love seat, so only 2 sections will be needed. Let's see, I am gonna make a rectangle that goes from here to there, from here to there, and then in the back like that. See that? So these are the armrests on the side. This is my couch. Now, if I want to soften it, I grab my direct selection tool, I click on the points, I click on the circles, and that allows me to soften that couch and make it just a little bit more cozy, right? That looks a little bit better. Yeah. And I do that in every single one. This one's I don't need to do that much. But look at that. That is the couch, right? That looks great. Let's see, what else am I going to do? Now, if you don't, I'm going to extend this just a little bit farther out to make it seem like a couch, okay? It's up to you how you design it, but this is how I like it. Okay. Next thing, let's make a TV, right? What would a TV look like from the top? I'm going to grab my rectangle, and I'm going to make my TV as long as I want, just 3 inches by however long I want. Let's make a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 foot TV if you want a big screen. And then I'm going to add another rectangle right below it, like this, right? And then using my direct selection tool, I'm just going to click and drag this in a little bit. Look at that. Click, drag a little bit. And because this is the front of the TV, I am going to make it black, like that. Ooh, that looks cool. We need a stand, so I'm going to make a rectangle like that. I probably need to increase the stroke. And a rectangle there. See, it's just rectangles. There it goes. That is my TV. That's a TV scene from the top, from the very, very top. Let's see, what else? Let's do a shower. If you want a shower is typically 3 feet by 3 feet with a rounded rectangle inside with a drain hole. And these lines just show you which direction the water is going to go. Okay, let's make a lamp. A lamp is just a circle around that size with another circle inside, right? And we are going to add some little lines right here, right? That signifies that lamp is giving off light. See, that's a lamp seen from the top. Very, very nice. What else can we do? Oh, let's do a bed. We haven't thought about a bed. Okay. A bed is going to take up quite a bit of space. Most beds, I'm going to bring this up. See how it doesn't matter if I bring it up or down? It conforms to the scale. So that's what I want. That's what makes me happy. Let's try a bed. A bed will typically be, I don't know, 6 feet by 7 feet, around there. So I'm going to make 2, 4, 6, 7, 2, 4, 6, 7. So yeah, let's do 6 by 7. 6 by around 7 feet. If you're taller and you want a bigger bed, you can make yourself a bigger bed, but that should be the minimum. In order to make it look like a bed, I am going to put a line right there, and then another line, that is the fold of the cover. And then for my pillows, I am going to do a rounded rectangle right there, and another rounded rectangle like that. There it goes. That looks like a very nice bed. If you want to add a headboard, you can just add a headboard like that. You can even put it inside. It's entirely up to you. That looks like a very nice bed. Anything else that we need to put in there? Let me think. You can get very fancy, right? You can do something like a computer. So I'll do that a little later in the next project, because a computer is fun, but I don't need to put it in quite yet. All right, if you want to do something like where you put your clothes, right? What do you call that? Like any bookcase or anything that you can see from the top, that's just going to be a square, right? And typically, bookcases are 1 by however long you want them. Where people put their clothes are typically 1.5 feet by however long you want them. So they're just rectangles, basically. Anything that has a door, you just add another rectangle there to signify that it has doors. So check it out. This is a bookcase with doors. If you wanted to show that there is a window on this space, right, you would just create an opening. Make the inside of your rectangle white, and make sure that that window goes right over that. Right? And if you want to really make it realistic, you put another line right in between, and that signifies a window. See, this is just a white rectangle and a line on top of it. Yeah. So kiddos, this is our architectural drawing to scale. This is our practice run, right? We are going to use a lot of these objects in our next project. Before I let you go, though, there is one more thing you have to do. For all of your objects that you've created, you want to make sure that you group them, okay? So the way you do that is you select the object that you created, you right-click, and then you group. See? And that way, when you select the object, it comes all together, right? So I'm going to group this. I'm going to group that, right-click and group. I'm going to group this. I'm going to group this. See, I'm grouping each thing individually, right? You don't want to group them all together, because then they all come together. Group that. Group. Group. See, if you don't group them and you try to bring the toilet, look, this is what happens, right? Only part of it goes. But if you group it and you click on the toilet, all of it comes along. That's what you want. Group, group, group. Did I already group this? Yes. And then group. And with the door too, right? Select the door and group that too. All right? Now, another thing, when you're trying to move an object and it has no fill, if you click in the middle, you can never move it. See that? It's not letting you move it. You have to click on the line to be able to move it. All right, kiddos, so that is it for this assignment. This is about how much you want to do, and you are going to use this as a basis to create your architectural drawing. We have almost everything we need, and the rest is just kind of having a little bit of fun with the project. All right, so I'll catch you in the next video.